decided to step back from the national team or my efforts for making the national team again. You know, I've had a good run, but I just feel like now is the right time. So I think, you know, part of my career highlights, I would say my first cap back in 2011. Seems so long ago now, but in Oakville, Ontario versus South Africa, that was a pretty special moment for the first time to be able to pull on the Canadian jersey. You know, 2013 Nations Cup when we beat England for the first time in years. You know, won that tournament, and then of course the 2014 Women's Rugby World Cup where we won the silver medal, and specifically at that tournament beating France in front of 20,000 Frenchmen and French women, you know, and we had about our 150 Canadian fans who were just, you know, screaming like crazy during that semi-final, and, you know, ended up winning by 2 points. So that's probably the most emotionally drained I've ever been in my life after that game. And then, you know, most recently on a personal level, back in 2015 when I had the chance to play in Calgary versus New Zealand. I had just come back from a full ACL reconstruction in 3.5 months that a lot of people said wasn't possible to do. And then my dad had actually passed away a month before that tournament. So it was very special to be able to play at home, play, you know, in front of my friends, my family, come back from injury. And, you know, that was kind of one of the last games that I played on the national team. So it's a pretty special memory. Consider myself old. You know, people still say I look like in my 20s. I wear a lot of sunscreen. But it's, you know, it felt like the right time. I think I've been playing contact sports since, you know, I was 11 years old. So 22 years of contact sports. Started with, you know, gridiron football, basketball, even though it doesn't seem like contact, there's elbows flying. That was the first time I broke my nose, first time I tore my ACL. And then a lot of years of rugby. So I think it's just, you know, there's a certain toll it takes on your body, and I think I have worked full-time throughout my entire time on the national career, and you know, whether people believe it or not, you train full-time at the same time, and it's just that accumulation of the last 5 years, it's draining. And not that I wouldn't love to still be on the national team and still represent Canada, but there's just a part of me that says, you know, like, you can start doing more outside of being on the field. And so, you know, off-field stuff, advocacy work, administrative support, coaching. I just feel like it's the right time. And, you know, the day after I told our head coach, François Rotier, I probably had the best sleep ever, even though I bawled my eyes out to him for a 20-minute phone call. It was such a relief for it to finally be real and be, just, I don't know how to explain it. Just, you know, have a great sleep and woke up, you know, literally like, that was just the best sleep ever. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you say expectations, because especially our Canadian team, I mean, we are literally the fittest team in the entire world. And if we were playing a different style of rugby where, you know, maybe the forwards were bigger and, you know, old school, just crashing it up, staying in the middle of the field, that might be a little bit different. I might have a little bit of a different mindset, but I want to be able to play that dynamic game. And, you know, there's a lot of stresses trying to make it back to that level. And the amount of conditioning now, and, you know, layer on top of that the amount of rehab you're always constantly doing, from past knee surgeries, past shoulder surgeries. So I think it just kind of all came together, and it just, I had so much fun playing just club this year, even though I wasn't, you know, at the pinnacle of my fitness, even though I was still trying to get back to the national team this year. It just seemed that, man, like, I'm having fun playing club, and I think I'm going to have fun if I'm training a little bit less and just put the focus of my energy elsewhere. In the past month, when I really just started, you know, letting my training just get, you know, less and less, I've lost about, you know, 5 kilos, so about, you know, 12 pounds, which are mostly muscle. So that's been an interesting body transformation that it happened so quickly. But it's, gosh, I just have so much free time. Not so much free time now because I'm filling it with other things, but the fact that I don't have to, you know, have the pressure to go to training, you know, every single day. If I don't want to go training, I don't have to. And it's a bizarre feeling. Because back when I was on the national team, it was, you know, you were going to get up and you're going to go run, or you're going to go to the gym after work, or you're going to go to conditioning after that, no matter how exhausted you were. And now it's just like, well, you know, I don't want to go for a run. And I don't. I'm going to go rip out my bathroom and keep busy doing renovations. You know, I think first and foremost, you know, my actual work career working for Imperial Oil, you know, they've supported me, you know, and have allowed me to take off, you know, for weeks at a time from work. And that's been pretty special. So, you know, I've always focused on my career, but it's just, I won't be so committed to only working 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. to make my afternoon training. So I might allow an afternoon meeting here or there. But, you know, when it comes to outside of work, I think I have a lot of energy for rugby and a lot of energy for athlete rights. And so I have, you know, advocacy work. I think now that I've stepped out of the program, but I'm still so connected to it, I think I can really do a lot of work in terms of influencing off-field issues for our national women's team. You know, and that, you know, that comes from, you know, just always being a bird in somebody's ear, being like, hey, like we should get this, or the girl should get that, or, you know, and a lot of things, it's just things that are maybe our organization doesn't think about. And, you know, so much has been done in the last year. And when I think about the girls in the Super Series this year, when they went down to Utah, you know, they had all the things that I had been fighting for the last 5 years. You know, my first tour I didn't go on was the one where it culminated, and that came from, you know, for the first time they didn't have to pay to go on tour. They had their, you know, caps ready for them, for the new girls. You know, they had their name and jersey number in the change room, you know, up on the wall to add that little bit more professional and, you know, special feeling. So to help the girls to succeed at the 2017 World Cup. Probably my abs. No, not, I mean, I say that jokingly, that, you know, I've always been a pretty muscular person, but it's, I think probably that team aspect. And I've done a few individual things in the past year that realize that, like, man, I am not an individual sport person. I really dislike having the pressure solely on me, and that if it's, you know, I want to be part of a team and I want to be able to encourage other people. I want to have other people encourage me. So I think that's probably one of the hardest things, is that team aspect. Is you know, I no longer have such ease of access to go and compete with people who are competing and wanting the exact same thing that I want. My bucket list. I don't even know if I've had time to think about it. I think my bucket list would be to get on Amazing Race Canada. So I think, you know, like traveling, even though you get to travel with the rugby team, it's different when you get to travel. When my husband and I went to go watch the Men's Rugby World Cup last year, we went solely as spectators and solely to, you know, take in the sights. And I think that was such a different experience, because when you go on tour with a team, you maybe have one day off, and even then you're so exhausted you kind of just want to stay in. You know, the house renos that I've talked about already, you know, those are things that we've been wanting to do for a while, but just haven't had the chance. And you know, and then who knows? It's I'll have to see. I really haven't had a chance to really think about what I want to do next. Supported me throughout my career. You know, first and foremost, my husband, who has been my #1 fan. You know, my mom, my 2 sisters, obviously my father before he passed away, and then all the friends, family, teammates, and, you know, opponents to help me, you know, have what I think, looking back on, is a pretty incredible 5-year career on the national team.